Heyo everybody, Haku here with this week's live reaction bingo for One Piece. We have chapter 1125. We just had a break last week, and it's a rough time for a break, but of course, I'm always happy for One Piece taking its time, and, Oda taking time off regularly so that the quality can stay to where it is. I think things have been really good for like the past months now. I've really loved the end of the Egghead arc, and now we could potentially see a lot of really exciting stuff depending on how much we're jumping around. Honestly, we were just jumping around a lot at the end of the arc, so we might not do as much as we usually do between arcs, but I feel like we will. I feel like there's just so many things happening in the world of One Piece that there are so many things for us to see right now. So we've got that. I don't know if we'll be going straight into Elbaf or if it'll take a couple chapters to get there. We don't know who the silhouette was. A lot of people have a lot of ideas. I think it kind of just looks like Shanks. I think that would be a boring answer though. A lot of people in the comments said, in my comments said Shanks' evil twin or whatever. There were people who said that it could be the guy that Crocus was talking to in that one cover page. I think that would be much more exciting than it just being Shanks, because I thought Shanks had already left. So I think it'd be really exciting if it was whoever that was. Maybe the Burn Scar guy, maybe Scoppers. So like anything like that I think would be exciting. But yeah, there's a lot going on that I think could be really, really, really cool to see. The title of this one is, let me look at it really quick. The title is What Constitutes Death? And looking at that makes me think that it's going to maybe continue to be about what we were talking about with Vegapunk last chapter. And I'm still going to stick to what I said last chapter, where it's like, I really, 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 really hope that they don't, like, that Oda doesn't Will of P us here. Because I think that the sacrifice of Vegapunk Stella to tell the truth to the world at the cost of his own life is really good writing. I think that's really good. So to me, I think it's perfectly fine if Lilith is now like, they live on through me. I have their memories. I have their knowledge. I think that would be a cool way to do things. What I don't want, what I don't particularly think is a cool way to do things is if they are like literally alive and she can just make new bodies for them. Or if they are literally alive and she can just switch between the different personalities. I think that takes so much away from Vegapunk's story, if that's the case. So I really hope it's not a case of them like literally being alive, but it's of course perfectly fine for them to figuratively be alive, because a huge thing in One Piece is the passing down of wills. The inherited will of One Piece is something that I've always said is probably the most important thing in the series. We're seeing it even now with the Nika to Joy Boy to Luffy stuff. We've seen it from the beginning of the series. It's been one of the most important things. It's one of the first things Goldie Roger says when he's given his little speech. Inherited will is like incredibly integral. So for Lilith to inherit the will of the rest of the Vegapunks, I think is good. What are we going to do when we do get to Elbaf when it comes to characters like Lilith or characters like Bonnie? To me, if Bonnie went anywhere other than the Straw Hats, the only other place to me that really truly makes sense is with the Revolutionaries, and they never do anything. So unless they're planning to show up at some point, why don't we just keep Bonnie with us? Like, it wouldn't make any sense for the Straw Hats not to just keep Bonnie around, especially when she's extremely useful. She's been useful just in Egghead more than a lot of the Straw Hats have been in the entirety of post time skip. And the same goes with Lilith. I don't know quite what we do with Lilith either. Does Lilith stick around? Do we consider all of Egghead to be our sort of sad backstory and stuff, and Lilith ends up joining up with the Straw Hats as a scientist? It feels like a bit of a superfluous position in the crew when we already have Frankie and Usopp. But Lilith could do things that those two could not. They would fill slightly different roles, and I've never been against just adding more people to the Straw Hats. So I wouldn't even be against it if they're just like, yeah, Bonnie and Lilith, they're just sticking with us for the rest of the journey. I wouldn't mind it. I don't think just adding characters to the Straw Hats is a bad thing. Getting into Elbaf, because of the whole Elbaf Nami conversation where Nami and where Nami and Carrot were the ones who learned about Loki and learned about a lot of the Elbaf stuff. I would love to see more of Carrot coming back in. We still have the cover story going on when it comes to Yamato and wrapping up some of the Wano stuff. I still think this cover story could give us some more information on what happened with Big Mom and Kaido. You gotta think, if Big Mom's ever coming back in the story, if Big Mom's ever really doing stuff again, it should be at Elbaf. I could see Oda just using her to like be like, oh, I'm going after Blackbeard to rescue Pudding or something. But to me, that just isn't as fun writing wise as playing on to the Elbaf stuff that was already a part of Big Mom's backstory. I think that's the way I'd like to see the character be brought back in and handled. But yeah, long Haku intro aside, just talking about One Piece because I've been really excited for it. Let's get into reacting and we can talk some more as we do that. If you're new to this, you know, this video is going up for you on Sunday as an official reader, but I am reading the scans because I don't like the official translation. For me, I will go with whatever translation quality I think is best, and I personally like the scans more. So I react to the scans and I post it for patrons and channel members when the scans come out, and then when the official translation comes out, I will post it publicly, this video publicly for everybody, so that I don't spoil anybody. So if you want to see the videos a little bit early, you can do so by becoming a patron or channel member. You just hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or link will be in the description as always to become a patron. Also, you know, in the comments and description, you're going to have a link to the bingo card generator. I updated it a teeny bit. I got rid of the cipher poll option just because I feel like we probably won't see them as much anymore in the future. Once we get to see what we're doing in the next few chapters getting into Elbaf, I'll probably change a lot because I like the Gorosei. I don't know how much more we're going to really be seeing the Gorosei, so I could probably get rid of that space. All I really did this week was get rid of the cipher poll option, and I added an option for just Elbaf. If we actually really see Elbaf this chapter, I added that as an option. I've been trying to stick around like 30 potential spaces. That way, like, you know, the card generator is going to give you 25. There's always going to be 5 that you're not going to get. So, like, you got to hope that you don't miss out on some of the easier ones like Straw Hat members or Blood, Sweat, and Tears, things like that. But, yeah, I haven't changed too much other than that. So yeah, I guess that's it. All I need to do now is see what I got on my card this week, and then we can start reacting. Let me go to the card generator, and let's see what we got. This week I ended up with Flashback, Named Attack. Named Attack is surprisingly difficult. Zoan Transformation, Smoker, Wano Piece, Yonko, Silhouetted Character, Admiral, Carrot and or Zunisha, Gorosei, Devil Fruit Awakening, Straw Hat Grand Fleet Representative, Free Space Which We Can Click, Nika Mentioned, Revolutionary, Vivi Wapple or Morgans, Kid Pirates, Food, Blood, Sweat or Tears, Bounty Reveal, any Straw Hat member, Seraphim, Heart Pirates, any island other than Egghead, or Vegapunk. I got a couple pretty easy ones here. No, I was gonna say we got, you know, Nika Mentioned is a maybe, and then Blood, Sweat or Tears is easy. Any island other than Egghead might be easy. Oh yeah, I can probably just get rid of this one like next week. I didn't even think about getting rid of it this week. But then you have Carrot and Smoker, probably not happening. So we do have all of this stuff. I maybe didn't get the best card. Also, you know, if you have any suggestions for potential spaces you want me to add or change things to, again, let me know if you want to, you know, have your say, have your voice in the bingo card generator a bit. I know that right before I did this, right before I came to record, Pate Arialo suggested putting Loki up here. I don't know if we're really even getting to Elbaf within the next, like, within this chapter, if it's going to take us a couple chapters, but when it looks like we're like at Elbaf, I think that might be a good space to add. I wanted to add like a space for getting a reveal for whoever the silhouetted character last chapter was, but then I was like, we just got that silhouette last chapter. I really don't think we'll see who it actually was this chapter, because Oda tends to overly take his time with this kind of thing. But with all that aside, let's start reading. We have chapter 1125, What Constitutes Death. We have this I guess. Is this going to be, hold on, before I look down at what it says, are they going to be rebuilding Odin's old manor? Then, Onichild Yamato in the Holy Inari Shrine Pilgrimage Volume 13. Odin Castle is about, okay, Odin Castle is to be rebuilt, but Minatomo the Carpenter is missing. Oh, so the guy Frankie was working for is, again, the guy missing. If Yamato goes to search out and try to find what happened, is that going to lead into, maybe I'm thinking too much about the Big Mom and Kaido stuff, but the reason I'm thinking about that is because the last time we had one of these cover stories, it was like mad stuff, and that ended up being super important and super relevant, and it told us a bit and hinted at a bit, like with Stussy and stuff, I think, before that was even revealed. And then the one before that ended up being really important for like the formation of new Mads, and also giving us Pudding being taken by the Blackbeard pirates. So the past couple like cover stories, we've been getting some like really key important stuff that pretty immediately wraps back into the main story. So I feel like we could be getting that here with Yamato as well. But with that, hold on, let me check some things real quick. We don't have any food up here. Didn't know if I'd be missing any of that. Doesn't, even though they're working so hard, I don't really know if I can say any confirmed sweat is there. So, geez. Let's see. What do I have? We do have Any Island Other than Egghead and Wano Piece. Those are kind of easy ones. But I think that's probably all we're going to have here. Just glancing through. Yeah, oh well. Is what it is. We're just on the cover page. Okay. So we're starting off at Egghead. What's next for the Marines still left standing? So we're continuing with Marine stuff. Load the Seraphim as soon as they're charged. As for the weaponized Sea Beast and Mark III Pacifista, oh, Rob Lucci-san, Kaku-san, and of course, I take Cypher Pole off and we immediately start with Cypher Pole. Where's Stussy-san? Killed in action. What? Okay, so I'm assuming they would have let Stussy go. So Stussy is off doing something and will probably come into the story at some point later on. And I really genuinely think after this arc, I just feel like there have been so many breadcrumbs and hints and like small things, but we see that with so many world government characters. I was going to say we've gotten so much that makes me think that in the end, when it comes down to it, push comes to shove, I feel like Lucci and Kaku are going to turn on the world government and help the Straw Hats. But then like you see that with a lot of the Marines, like Smoker and stuff. So it's like, and Smoker was on his way here. We never know when we're ever going to see him actually do anything. But we're cutting away. We've obtained everything that we set out for. So we have a destroyed ship. I don't know if that's supposed to be the little boat that Sentomaru was on, but I don't think so. I think it's just a random crashed ship maybe. But we're actually seeing a Gorosei. We are I didn't know if we would, since they went back to Mariwa, I didn't know if we'd see them for a while, but we have Saturn. With York, Punk Records, and the power station in hand, we've secured access to the Eternal Mother Flame. That result would have been more than adequate, but we had one critical hiccup. We're terribly sorry, sir. It's a disgrace that we failed to capture Jewelry Bonnie and the Straw Hat crew. Even with our Grand Buster Call fleet, the 9 of us Vice Admirals couldn't get the job done. It looks like Dahl and the rest are back to their normal age. Please, give us leave to pursue them to Elbaf. No. Forget Elbaf, says Saturn. The failure to which I refer is far more dire. I would assume the information getting out, allowing Vegapunk's message to play was an unexpected disaster. Not to mention that Iron Giant surfacing to aid in the pirates' escape. It's ironic. Really. Roughly 200 years ago. So we're seeing Saturn looked the same 200 years ago. But St. Saturn, we've already received orders to scrap it. I'll take responsibility should this be uncovered. Now do as I bid and study it thoroughly. Really? So this is like a story of Saturn's own decisions coming back to haunt him. This is the future. I'm certain it will ultimately prove to be a great asset to our military might. Thank you for the opportunity. It would have been a shame to junk such an exciting specimen. And I don't know if we're supposed to really recognize any of these characters. I don't think so. It remained dormant for 200 years. I mean, people are probably going to say the guy on the right looks kind of like Topman, but it's really only because he's bald and has a giant mustache. It remained dormant for 200 years, and yet it clearly moved to protect Straw Hat Luffy. St. Saturn, as a humble and loyal soldier of the government, I have one question weighing on my mind. You said allowing Vegapunk's message to get out was a failure. Does that imply there was some truth behind his remarks? And then he just gets destroyed where he stands. Vice Admiral Doberman, we need a medic. Slap one of them awake. Vice Admiral. Okay, and we're cutting to inside the lab. Before we do, let me fill out anything we might have gotten here. We did get a flashback. Named attack. Yeah, we didn't get any Zoan transformation. No smoker. Yeah, no named attack. We did get a Gorosei. No carrot, of course. No Admiral. Did we get a silhouetted character? Hang on. Let me scroll back up for a quick second. I don't think we did. Like, we can pretty clearly see everybody that's supposed to be here, yeah. Never mind then. No silhouetted characters. So, we definitely... I know there's a few more. Then... No Nika mentioned. Jeez. Or revolutionaries. We did get blood from the guy getting taken down, but I feel like with what I've got going on here, that doesn't help. I just saw that we're going to go to York, so we're going to have Vegapunk. Oh, so all I need silhouetted character. Never mind. This is going pretty well. I don't think we saw any food yet. Or Seraphim. The Seraphim were mentioned, but we never see any Seraphim. Okay. So then, I think that's it for now. Unless I missed something again, you know, I can make mistakes. And then we see inside the lab. Huh? What's happening? Sky clouds? Not good. They aren't stopping. Why is the cloud factory going haywire? It must be Edison, that damn fool. He couldn't just roll over and die in the Fabriostratum, could he? Huh. Bingo. Okay, so we did survive. And she fires. We see a huge blast at the lab. Damn it. I've been played. He's taken Punk Records. So this is... Okay, so the brain survives. Edison stole Punk Records on a Sky Island that he made. Okay then, so Edison's still alive, and Edison steals Punk Records. And if so, I wonder if that maybe has something to do with what's going on with... Hold on, let me just... Am I going to get in trouble for showing this? Let me run over to... No, never mind. Never mind, I'm not going to. I just wanted to... Hold on, maybe I can show this. York, man, the whole cake, like we've been saying, the real Whole Cake Island was Egghead all along. Holy crap. Okay, now I can switch it back. I'll switch it back to this. Okay. I was like looking at that panel while I was trying to have an actual discussion about the plot and stuff, and I had to say something because, damn, York is honestly like top tier, like S tier One Piece girl. Damn it. I've been played. He's taken Punk Records, and then Holy Land of Mariwa. What do you mean? That dimwit Vegapunk can't be telling the truth. What is Akainu doing? He still hasn't done anything about Kuma's escape. Besides, the world sinking doesn't affect us, and we're seeing the out-of-touch Tenryubito. What's with these scraps? You buffoon of a chef, I ordered beef. Why did you serve me fish? I'm so sorry, your worship. Our stocks have dwindled. This is unheard of. And he just shoots him. This food issue has gone too far. I not only missed a meal yesterday, I wasn't allowed any snacks. Unacceptable. Treated like a common street rat. Is there a famine? Will we starve? We must sentence whoever's responsible to death. No, that's not enough. The negligent scum responsible should be tortured for their mismanagement. Now we see the room of authority. We're seeing Garling. Garling, what do you think you're doing here? No orders have been bestowed upon me. Orders? From who? What are you saying, Garling? Tread lightly. You forget yourself, says Mars this time. The Vegapunk, known as York, shall henceforth be under my purview, as I was just named the new defense science warrior god. So so straight up Garling is, we're getting to learn how Gorosei work. Saturn is getting ousted by Garling, it seems. Don't tell me. The world's heading for turmoil. An unprecedented level of rebellion is imminent. Let us work together to better the world, my fellow elders. 5 elder planets, Saint Figurland Garling, defense science warrior god. Garling has really had the come up. And we see it's not just like crescent moon looking, but we have this cool like star shape to his hair and beard from the front. Okay, so yeah, Garling, I was just thinking, oh, captain of the God Knights or whatever. But now just straight up Gorosei. So if he's Gorosei, are we actually going to get Shank's evil twin as captain of the God Knights? Then hold on, we're cutting back to Egghead once again. Is there anything new for me to put in here? I don't really think there is. We did have food actually. Hold up, we had some food. We didn't have some silhouetted characters yet though, I don't believe. Okay, well that's all I've got. So let me go back here. Yeah, I don't believe we had any silhouettes. We know these characters. Okay. Egghead, the island of the future. Saint Saturn, sir, what's happening to him? And he's screaming. So it's weird. All of the Gorosei were summoned. So it's like, what does that mean? And they haven't aged in 200 years. But Garling has definitely aged. So does Garling stop aging now? Or did like Saturn just specifically have the surgery or something else to give him a super long lifespan? But not all of the Gorosei get that? But it seems like we have this black murk coming from him. And maybe that has something to do with Imu's power? Where are those medics? Hurry, we need them. Saint Saturn, what's going on? He's one of the world's overseers. We can't let anything happen to him. And all the vice admirals are getting to see this, which is another important thing to note. Is it some sort of disease? Saint Saturn, tell us what we should do. And he's starting to like age rapidly, it seems like. No, it can't be. What the? Saturn? Joy Boy was behind that escape, and you allowed it to happen. Himu-sama, have mercy. How could I anticipate that power foiling us? And he's saying, how could I anticipate it foiling us? We see Imu's power, like, we've seen it have, like, ink effects, and it looks like he's, like, dissolving into this ink. But also, while he's saying this in his mind, out loud, he says Imu. So again, it is important to note, all of these Vice Admiral characters are hearing the name Imu and seeing this happen to him. And then there's a massive explosion from it. Imu-sa. And then he's cut off. The Vice Admirals go flying back. And all that's left is a withered skeleton. A skeleton? That is a really cool scene. This chapter is, once again, an absolute banger. Looks like we weren't able to move the Labostratum too. And then that traitor York got in the way. The signal reaches across the globe, so she'll still be able to connect. But that's better than handing her the whole thing on a silver platter, ain't it? Until the day all of humanity can access our brain, we have to keep it safe. It'll probably be at least 500 years. I assume you used a roaming cloud? You got it. But the whole world will reckon us Vegapunks are 6 feet under. So it ain't like we can leisurely tour the world right now, right? True. And with no funds or resources, we can't keep inventing either. We'll just have to leave that to our partners. I don't know how I feel about it. I kind of think it takes away from their sacrifice a bit to have them all just still alive, but it also just kind of logically makes sense for them to still be alive within Punk Records. I do like that it's not like an immediate thing. They're just basically like, well, I guess we're gonna have to float around on the skies for 500 years. But, I don't know. It's a little disappointing, but I don't think it's being handled that bad. Like, it could be handled much, much worse. And then, nice. How do we look? absolutely bonkers. And he puts on like the torso of Shaka and the arms of Atlas and Pythagoras. I see you always admired my lovely proportions. Huh, says Shaka. Shut up, you knucklehead. Let's toss York's spare parts out. Let's toss York's spare parts out. And we see there's spare parts for all of them. I mean, damn, they made a bunch of York bodies, huh? Haha, good thinking. They're creepy. I mean, I'm not saying anything. Weatheria, come in. Anyone there? This here's Vegapunk. Vegapunk, I thought you were dead. And we have freaking Drip Merlin was I called him like Merlin with the drip when I did the character poll. Why am I always like I remember his name when I'm not like doing videos or streams or anything, but then when I'm like doing videos or streams I'm like I do not remember this guy's name off the top of my head. Jesus, like right at the tip of my brain too. I hate that. But yeah, we got Drip Merlin. And we're cutting to the Kamabaka King Queendom. Oh my, how grisly. What's gonna happen? Are we gonna die? I don't wanna die. No water's gonna kill me. I can swim. To put it bluntly, none of us knew these details. The Void Century covered up a massive war, and that culminated in ancient weapons tech, plunging the world 200 meters deeper into the ocean. Not only that, but the one who claims the One Piece will not only be crowned Pirate King, but they'll likely get to wield that devastating power for themselves. We can't let that happen. The world will sink. This explains why the first celestial dragons chose to live on the Red Line. It's the highest point on the planet. There's also Tequila Wolf, Vodka Wolf, Rum Wolf, and Bourbon Wolf. Is this why they've spent the last 700 years forcing slaves to build all those gigantic structures? Interesting to note, Ivankov is like always on point, like doing it, like Ivankov is a One Piece theorist that's actually in One Piece. So it's interesting that there's Tequila Wolf, Vodka Wolf, Rum Wolf, and Bourbon Wolf, but then we have the character San Juan Wolf, who is like a giant, like a massive person. So it's like, what's the relation there? All the pieces are falling into place. You took the words right out of my mouth. Mine too. Vegapunk. Among those who heed your warning, many will act out of self-interest, not peace. We must hurry and achieve victory for our cause, before the people of the world kill each other to secure habitable land. An era of chaos dawns. And am I supposed to be hype? Because, you know, I kind of want to see more from the commanders and everything of the revolutionaries, but thus far in the series we're over 1,000 chapters, over 1,100 chapters in. That's like 11 times longer than a lot of series get to be, that are even series that are called long running. And generally speaking, the revolutionaries have been the biggest frauds on the planet, especially Dragon. So it's like, am I supposed to be hyped for these guys? We spent a couple pages, like we spent our last 2 pages recapping with the revolutionaries, when it's like, we could have used those 2 pages for characters that are going to do things, because even if we get this scene, we've had scenes with them before that made you think maybe they'll do something, but I'll believe it when I see it. So, before I end, let's see, I still didn't get a silhouetted character, I believe. But we did get revolutionaries. And I think that's probably it. I can't imagine we get anything else from that. Yeah, no named attack. No smoker or anything. That's kind of a bummer. Yeah, and no Straw Hats. Crazy. So yeah. That's what I got for my card. I thought it was a killer chapter once again, though. I joke around about the last 2 pages just being a load of fraudsters doing nothing as usual, but you know, the chapter was great. I think the stuff going on with the Gorosei is really interesting, and I like the ending to Vegapunk's story. It seems like Stella is maybe dead. It's just the artificially created ones that get to live on through Punk Records, which I think is fair enough. And they're all now in the body of Edison, which I think would make sense to me, because now Lilith is presumably outside of the range to connect with Punk Records. So that means you're going to have York helping out the Gorosei, which I think is good. We have really interesting stuff going on with Garling. We're going to have, on the opposite side of things, Lilith helping out the Straw Hat, and I think the best thing to do with the other Vegapunks is to just keep them out, just have them do what they said. Float around in the sky for the next 500 years. They're not going to do it for 500 years because, you know, the end of the series is going to come before then. I think they will come, like, when we have, like, literally every character coming back in for the end of the series, they're also going to be coming back in for the end of the series. But I think if we don't see the rest of the Vegapunks other than Lilith and York until the end of series stuff when they come back in, that's fine with me. It's probably, we only have a couple more arcs left, I'd assume, so it's probably not even going to be that long, all things told. I think they should just sit out till the end of series stuff whenever they come in to play whatever role they're going to play in the very end. Because, yeah, until they come in for that role, I don't see anything for them to do. And what are they going to do? Is York going to be doing something and they foil York's plans? Or is it going to be once the bad guys have all been defeated, we get during like the One Piece epilogue session, we get like them coming down in their floating island with their giant brain and setting up the One Piece internet via the Punk Records? Is that how it works? That could be what they do. I think that's like, because going from here, we're going into Elbaf. From Elbaf, I feel like we maybe have a moon arc, but that's not a guarantee. We probably do stuff with the Blackbeard pirates at Hachinosu. Probably, I would assume that. Then we possibly have a small arc, maybe just a couple chapters at Lodestar, and then we go into Laugh Tale and end the series out with whatever the post, like, is Laugh Tale going to be the end? Are we going to have Laugh Tale and then like a final battle against Emu? We're just going to have that. So really, there's like 4 or 5 arcs or less, and not all of those arcs are even going to be like fully fledged arcs left, probably. So with that in mind, there's not really too much to do for the Vegapunks. But I think that, again, them still being alive is slightly disappointing, but I'm not even going to really sit and complain about it, because honestly, the way it was handled wasn't really handled that poorly. I think it makes sense. I think it works. While it's not the most exciting or the best way to handle it, I also just don't think it's bad. So yeah, I thought it was a fine chapter, and I hope you all enjoyed watching, enjoyed being a part of the video, playing along and everything. So like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter, my first thoughts and reaction. Subscribe for more One Piece, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. If you'd like to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks, it's appreciated. But if you want to help support the channel, get these videos early, and get your name at the end of every video, hit join down below to become a channel member, or go to patreon.com/Haku of the Tubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you. And if you want to play along, you know, or play along with the bingo card, then it'll be in the comments and description as it always is. But thank you to people who are already patrons and channel members. Thank you to Chosen Regular Evan Hawley, Magical Girls, FR Nono, Abyss Knight, JA, and the D-Ban, Cheverton Students, David Langstaff and Folded Ghoul, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element, Pate Ardial. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.